Next question. As an investment manager, you are given the following information. Information is provided that the investment is made in Cement Limited, Steel Limited, Liquor Limited, and Government of India bond. Initial price is provided to us, that is P0. Dividend information is given, that is D1. Market price is given at the end of the period, that is P1, and a respective beta is given. The risk-free rate of return RF is given to us as 14%. You are required to calculate, first question, expected rate of return of portfolio in each using CAPM. So the question says that say for each of the security, you are required to compute the expected rate of return using CAPM. It means that the required rate of return is required to be found, which will be found by applying the formula RF plus beta into RM minus RF. This is the formula which is required to be applied to compute expected rate of return of the portfolio in each using CAPM, or we can say that it is a kind of required rate of return. I request all of you to go through the question, please. Now friends, over here you can see that the risk-free rate of return information is given to us in the example as 14% that we require. Next is the beta information that we require is also given to us in the example. RF is of course given to us as 14%. The only information which is lacking is RM, that is return on the market portfolio. So what happens friends over here, say we are required to make the computation of the return on the market portfolio. For that, so the institute has made a very simple assumption that whatever the returns that say these securities are able to generate in total, whatever the returns that say these securities have generated in total, that itself is a return on the market portfolio. So we'll compute the return that these securities have been able to generate in total, that is RM, and accordingly we will make the computation of the required rate of return. So please write an answer. In order to compute expected return as per CAPM, comma, required rate of return we will apply following formula. So please apply this formula, that is write down this formula. RF plus beta into RM minus RF. With paragraph write down. In the given question, comma, we have been given information about RF and beta. Full stop. So we have to find RM from given information and then the required rate of return will be found. Full stop. with paragraph read down. In order to compute a required rate of return, I'm sorry, in order to compute RM, we are assuming that whatever return that these securities are able to generate in total is RM. So over here we'll make the calculation like this. Column number 1 is security that is provided to us cement, steel, liquor, government of India. Then I'm writing P0. The term P0 stands for initial price. Then we will compute the weight or proportion. The total of that has to be 1. Return. Return is calculated as D1 plus P1 minus P0 whole divided by P0 into 100. That is the way the return is found. Then lastly, weight into return. And that is the way the weighted average return will be found. And this is what the return of the portfolio. In this way, we are required to prepare this simple table. So friends, over here the security is provided to us like cement. The price at the beginning of the period is provided to us as 25. This is 25. Weight we will write later on. So this 25 divided by, we can write it at this time only. Use a calculator. 25 plus 35 plus 45 plus 1000. So it is 1105. So over here it is 25 divided by 1105. So 25 divided by 1105 is 0.0226. Okay. Multiplying with the respective return. As far as the return is concerned, 2 rupees is the dividend. P1 minus P0. So what will happen over here? 2 rupees is the dividend. P1 is 15 minus P0 is 25 whole divided by P0 25 into 100 for getting answer in percentage term. So use a calculator. 50 minus 25 is 25 plus 2, that is 27 upon 25. That comes to 1.08 into 100. So it is 108 percentage. This is a return. The last column is weight into return. So what will happen, dear students? 0.0226 into 108. That comes to 2.44. This is the way weight into return can be calculated. And so on, we'll make computation for the other securities. I suggest all of you to write all these things at least for once. I'm going to write every time, but all of you write at least for once so that in your revision you can come to know that how these values are calculated. After cement, it is the steel. In that, say the calculations are required to be performed. For steel, the price is 35. As far as the weight is concerned, it is 35 divided by 1105 once again. So it is 0.0317. As far as the return is concerned, it is 2 rupees of the dividend plus 60 minus 35 divided by 35 into 100. So 60 minus 35 is 25 plus 2 upon 35. That is 77.14 percentage into 0.0317. So it is 2.45 percentage. Next is liquor. In that, again the P0 is 45. 45 divided by 1105. It is 0.0407. As far as the return is concerned, it is 2 plus 135 minus 45 whole divided by 45 into 100. So it is 90 plus 2, 92 upon 45 into 100, 204.44 percentage into 0.0407. So it is 8.32. Last is GOI, Government of India bond. In that, so the price is 1000. So weight of proportion will be 1000 divided by 1105. So 1000 divided by 1105, 0.9050. Dear students, we just have to make sure that the total is 1. So over here 0.0226 plus 0.0317 plus 0.407 plus 0.905. Yes, the total is 1, so there is no issue. Otherwise, due to some approximation, the total may not be 1. Then in that case, the last weight is required to be adjusted and it will be kept as balance figure. The return will be 140 rupees of the dividend plus, okay, this P1 is 140. I'm sorry, D1 is 140. P1 is 1005 minus 1000 whole divided by 1000 into 100 for getting answer in percentage term. It is 14.5 percentage. Okay. So 0.905 into 14.5. So it is 13.12 percentage. Lastly, return on the portfolio. The return on the market portfolio is simple weighted average that we have calculated. So what will happen? It is 2.44 plus 2.45 plus 8.32 plus 13.12. So it is 26.33 percentage. This is the way return on the market portfolio can be calculated. Now friends, over here, this working is of course completed. Now we can do this answer with an alternative method also. What is that alternative method? I am explaining that to you. Let us answer alternative method. In that, so the working can be made like this. Name of the security, column number 1, P0, column number 2, D1 and P1. This is the name of the security, P0, D1 and P1. So what will happen over here? We understand that it is cement, steel, liquor and Government of India bond. As far as the P0 is concerned, it is 25, 35, 45, 1000. So it is 1105. D1 is 2 rupees for 3 times, 140 last time. So 146. P1 is 50, 60, 135, 1005. One two five zero. This is the way we can compute that what is the overall market at the beginning of the period, overall market at the end of the period, and the dividend. Now you can apply a single formula like this. Return on the market portfolio is D1 plus P1 minus P0 whole divided by P0 into 100. What is D1? D1 is 146. What is P1? P1 is 1250. What is P0? 1105. Whole divided by 1105 into 100 for getting answer in percentage term. So use your calculator. 1250 minus 1105, that comes to 145 plus 146, that is 291 divided by 1105 into 100, and the answer is again 26.33%. So the alternative method works in this way. Let's say you compute that in total what was the market at the beginning of the period, at the end of the period, and in total what is the dividend that the market has given. With that, say we can make the computation of RM. In examination, we can follow either of the method. Now, once we have made the computation of the return on the market portfolio, now the calculation is very simple to make the computation of the required rate of return. RF is provided to us as 14%. Beta is already provided to us for the individual security. RM has been found by us 26.33%. So we can compute the required rate of return. So let us answer the question. Calculation of expected return based on CAPM or required rate of return. Let us see, let's say, how to calculate the answer. Again, the column number 1 is security. Column number 2 will be directly the required rate of return, which will be RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Okay. The first security is, say, cement. In that, so the risk-free rate of return is, of course, RF is same for everyone. It is 14 plus beta is given to us in the question ready-made 0.80. RF is 14. So here it will be 0.8. This is 26.33 minus 14. So use a calculator. 26.33 minus 14, that is 12.33 into 0.8 plus 14, That comes to 23.86. Okay. Next is Steel Limited. In that set is 14 once again plus beta is 0.70. In bracket it is 26.33 minus 14. That comes to 12.33 into 0.7 plus 14. That is 22.683. Next is Liquor Limited. It is again 14 plus beta is 0.50. In bracket it is 26.33 minus 14. So 12.33 into 0.5, 6.165 plus 14. That comes to 20.165 or 20.17. Next is the Government of India bond. In that it is again 14 plus beta is provided to us as 0.01. Dear students, we know that the beta or risk of the Government of India bond is like usually 0, but they have provided over here 0.01. In certain questions of the institute, they have provided even 1. So whatever the value that say they have given, that we have to take for doing answer. So over here the beta is 0.01. Calculation method is going to be same. Just I am telling you that said in certain questions they have provided 0.99. In certain questions they have provided even 1. Whatever the value that they have given, that we have to accept it. So 12.33 into 0.01 plus 14. So it is 14.12%. This is the way we can make the calculation of answer. Second part of the question is calculation of average rate of return. Now dear students, over here the institute has made an assumption for doing second part of the question. Institute has made an assumption that average rate of return means we are required to find return of a portfolio consisting of these 4 securities held in equal proportion. Yes, average rate of return means calculation of the return of a portfolio consisting of these 4 securities held in equal proportion. So let us see that how to make the calculation of answer. Answer for the second question is average rate of return. In the breakdown, average rate of return is to be calculated considering an investor who has invested in all 4 securities in equal proportion. So assuming that an investor is investing in all 4 securities in equal proportion, we are required to compute the average rate of return. So we can say something like this: security weight or proportion return weight into return. Security is cement, steel, liquor and Government of India bond. Weight will be 0.25, 0.25, again 0.25, again 0.25. So it is 1 divided by 4. That is the way, so the weight or proportion will be calculated. The total of the weight is of course 1. Multiplied with the respective return. Return is 23.86, 22.63 and so on. That return we will mention. Weight into return, that is the way the weighted average answer will be found, and that is average rate of return answer will be found. So the returns are 23.86 and so on, that we have to keep. So 0.25 into 23.86, that is 5.965 or 5.97. 0.25 into 22.63, 5.6575, that is 5.66. 0.25 into 20.17, 5.0425. 0.25 into 14.12, 3.53. So the answer will be 5.97 plus 5.66 plus 5.04 plus 3.53. That comes to 20.20. This is the way average rate of return can be calculated. Now you may have a question like this, that instead of doing working in this way, can we do an alternative method? The alternative method by which a student may do working is like this. So again, for the second part of the question, there is an alternative method. The alternative method works in this way. In that, first of all, you prepare working note number 1, calculation of beta of portfolio. How beta of the portfolio is calculated? It is beta of security C into weight of security C plus beta of security S into weight of security S, beta of security L into weight of security L, beta of Government of India bond into weight of Government of India bond. In a way that so you can compute first of all the beta of the portfolio. We know that so the weight is 0.25 for everyone. So here the weight is 0.25. How this 0.25 is calculated? It is 1 by 4. So it is 1 divided by 4. Multiplying with the beta. Beta of the first security is 0.80. 0.25 into 0.70. 0.25 into 0.50. 0.25 into 0.01. This is the way the beta of the portfolio can be found. So it is 0.2 plus 0.175 plus 0.125 plus 0.0025 so 0.2 plus 0.175 plus 0.125 plus 0.0025, 0.5025. So first of all, you can calculate the beta of the portfolio. Once you compute the beta of the portfolio, then answer is very simple. It is required rate of return, that is average return, is equal to RF plus beta of the portfolio into RM minus RF. RF is 14 plus 0.5025. The return on the market portfolio is 26.33 minus RF is 14. So 14 plus 26.33 minus 14, 12.33 into 0.5025 is 6.1958. That comes to 6.20. So 14 plus 6, that is 20. So 20.20. That is the way return on the market, that is return can be calculated. This is the average rate of return. So this is a very good question that we have solved, and it has been asked in examination for more than one time in examination. The first part of the question says that you're required to compute the expected rate of return based on CAPM, that is the required rate of return. For that, the formula will be applied RF plus beta into RM minus RF. RF information is given to us in the example. Beta information is also given. Return on the market portfolio information is not given. So basically from the given information, we are required to calculate it. Okay. So the return on the market portfolio is found, in which, say, we make the computation of the weighted average. The proportion in which the individual security is there, that is the weight of the individual security multiplying with the respective return. Return is calculated, say, taking into account the price change and taking into account the return. So taking into account the dividend. And so the weight will be taken, say, in the proportion of the value of the investment, value of the security at the beginning of the period. This is a detailed and the conceptual method by which we can compute the answer. So the return of the portfolio is 26.33%. Now this entire answer can be done by an alternative method, in which initial price, year-end price and dividend, taking all of them together, you can compute RM, which is, say, 26.33%. Then expected return based on CAPM or a required rate of return. In that we understand that, say, the individual security. For that, say, we'll apply the simple formula. RF is given, RM is given, so the beta is there, everything is there. In the second part of the question, dear students, the important thing is that, say, you're required to compute the average rate of return, means return of a portfolio consisting of these four securities held in equal proportion. Further, we have to understand that, say, in the second part of the question, we have to do answer in the continuation of the first part. What does it mean? It means that, say, you're required to compute the answer considering that the expected rate of return based on CAPM that you have found in the first part of the question, that you have to take in the continuation. This is the way we are doing, so the average rate of return calculation, that you can do as a simple weighted average. So the proportion is 1/4 into respective return. This is what, say, we are doing 20.20, or otherwise you can compute first of all beta of the portfolio, that is again the weighted average, and then the required rate of return can be calculated. Even otherwise, what you can do, whatever these returns that, say, you already have calculated, divide by 4, you just make the summation, divide by 4, that is 23.86 plus 22.63 plus 20.17 plus 14.12. The total is 80.78. Divide by 4, that comes to 20.195, that is 2020. This is also the way you can compute the average rate of return. In my opinion, it is an important question from examination point of view.